Hello everybody, my name's Stephen and welcome to my new Booktube channel, Light Reading Reviews. I've just recently got into Booktube and I've noticed a trend with a lot of new Booktubers doing the whole Booktube Newbie Tag, so I thought I'd give it a go as a way of introducing myself to the community. Okay, let's take these questions one at a time. Okay, question one, why did you start this channel? The reason I started this channel is because I have a passion for books. The problem is, most of my friends and family don't actually like reading the kind of books that I do, which doesn't give me a outlet for what I enjoy. I rarely want to talk about these books with somebody, but I never get the chance. When you finish a good book and you've had that emotional connection with it, but nobody actually wants to listen and they just glaze over and it's sort of, well, it was a book. It's not just a book to me. And hopefully I can get that over and share that with like-minded people. Okay, number two, what are some of the fun and unique things you can bring to Booktube? Actually, I don't know too much about this one. I've only just found Booktube about a month ago when I was actually looking for reviews on some of my favourite books. Previously, I've been into gaming YouTube channels, AniTube, because I'm also into my whole anime, and I used to look at reviews for those, reactions, that kind of thing. But I never thought about doing the same thing for books. But for some reason, I decided I wanted to look at a review for one of the latest books I was reading because I got really emotionally connected to it. And I started looking to see what was out there, and I discovered the whole Booktube community. The problem was I couldn't find any for this particular book or these particular types of books, which happen to be Japanese light novels. I found one, maybe two channels, maybe I'm not looking in the right places, so hopefully that's something I can bring to the community that isn't really spoken much about, and hopefully I can share that journey with everybody. And yeah, sorry, I just completely got tongue-tied. Okay, number three. What are you most excited about for this new channel? I think it's the same as number one. It's sharing my love for books with like-minded people. I get lost in the stories. I get just so mesmerized sometimes, and I just want to share that with somebody. And having people to share that with and have discussions, whether you agree with me, you disagree with me, just being able to get into that kind of conversation that I'm not normally being able to do with people that I know, it will just allow me to actually enjoy my reading to another level, hopefully. So hopefully you can join me along that journey and comment, and we can, well, comment down below and we can get into discussions and talk about books that we like and don't like. Okay, 4, why do you love reading? Probably a bit cliche. I like getting lost in the different worlds. I am a fantasy and sci-fi geek. It's something about reading about other worlds that just aren't realistic, that you can just get lost in and immerse yourself into. I know it's what a lot of us fantasy and sci-fi geeks say, but it's just so true. It's that escapism from your day-to-day life. And it just allows me to, just enjoy myself and just relax like no other kind of hobby has. Okay, so what is next on the list? Number 5, what book or series got you into reading? Well, this is a bit of a long story. It's actually 3 different times I've gotten into reading because I've sort of picked up books and put them down throughout the years. So when I was very young, about 4 or 5, I was diagnosed with learning difficulties, and it was my writing and reading, so I was put on specialist courses. And to help with that, my mother used to read to me at night, and I used to get me to read along with her. And because of that, I got a passion for books I don't think I would have gotten if she hadn't have taken that time to actually sit with me and show me the wonder of books, because she herself is completely into books and has a huge collection herself. Probably not as big as my collection, I must say, but you know, without my mother's love for books, I don't think I would have had one either. Through school, I sort of started putting books down because it just wasn't the in thing at the time when I was growing up, and people would look at you a bit weird, kind of thing. So I put books down until probably my late teens, mid to late teens, and then I picked up some fancy books when I was going abroad on holiday, and it got me back into my reading again for about 5-6 years. When I was going through some particularly difficult times in my life, it was a way of escapism, like I've mentioned before, and it just allowed me to escape reality. And if it hadn't been for books, I don't think I would have been as happy in my life as I am now. Then I put books down again, mainly because of work. I was doing very long shifts, 12 plus hours some days, and I just didn't have the time to read. And then about 4 or 5 years ago, I started picking up books again, and I haven't put them down since. I've rarely ramped up the amount of books I've read though in the past 2.5 to 3 years, when I started another job that rarely gave me the time to be able to read because of the commute to work. Because of where the office is located, I tend to catch public transport, so I tend to read my books on the way to work, on the way home from work, and it allowed me to enjoy books on a whole new level that I've never been able to enjoy before. Okay, so that was a bit of a long one. So number 6, what questions would you ask your favourite booktuber? So as I said, I've only really just got into Booktube. So at the moment, I think it would be, what kind of setup do you have to do these kind of things? Currently, I've got my mobile phone on my monitor recording me, which isn't the best setup. I've just started this on a whim because of my love for books. So it's a case of, I'd like to make it a bit better so I can share my thoughts and everything with people more coherently and on a better kind of format than now. So what camera do you use, what microphones, what editing software, that kind of thing. What do you actually do, the techniques to actually polish your videos to make them so they look so good? Okay, so 7, what challenges do you think starting a Booktube channel will be the hardest to overcome? I think for me, it's probably going to be my anxiety. I'm really trying to put a lot of emotion, a lot of confidence into this, but I rarely do suffer from like a social anxiety. And I think overcoming that and putting myself forward to people to even actually start recording is going to be the hardest thing for me to overcome. It's taken me a week on and off trying to record this first video because my anxiety keeps on getting there thinking, well, I'm going to put this out, no one's going to watch it, people are going to watch it and they're going to hate it, people aren't going to want to listen to my thoughts, they're not going to enjoy what I enjoy. You know, that is going to be the hardest thing for me to overcome, and keeping up that schedule because of it. So hopefully I can keep at it and it can bring me out of my shell a bit more. Okay, 8, when did you start reading? This, I think I answered before. It was when I was very young and I was diagnosed with those learning difficulties, and especially the reading and writing. That's when I started reading, and it changed my life so much. So thank you to my mother again for that one. Okay. Number 9, where do you like to read? Anywhere that I can get comfortable. At the moment, because of the whole COVID situation, I'm reading a lot on curled up in front of the fire on my sofa, tucked up in bed, that kind of thing. When the whole COVID thing wasn't there, as I said, I got a new job recently that I had to commute to work on, so I was reading on like the bus and on the tram to work. But I also like reading in places like coffee shops or in the park if it's a really nice day. Just somewhere where I can sit down and relax and just enjoy myself. But out of them all, Outside of COVID situations, I'd say probably a coffee shop or curl up on the sofa. In COVID situations, mainly just curl up on the sofa. Okay, and number 10, what kind of books do you like to read? I've read a lot of books throughout my entire life, mainly all fantasy kind of books. But I tend to like my high fantasy and my high sci-fi novels. So I like to get lost into completely different worlds. Sorry, I just realised I said fantasy. I meant I've read a lot of different kind of fictional books. So I prefer my fiction, but I tend to like my high fantasy and my sci-fi books. They are my favourite type. But I do read occasionally the other kind of stuff as well. And when I do my bookshelf tour, which I'll hopefully do in a video sometime soon, I'll go through my book collection and go through the different kinds of books I've read in the past and what I'm reading now. Okay, and number 11, last question. What does your book collection look like? Okay, I think I just said that in number 10. So what I'm going to do for my upcoming videos is I'm going to take you on a tour of my bookcase. I'm going to go through each of the different shelves, the different types of books, pull a few out and tell you my thoughts on them and stuff like that. And the reason why I've gotten into those styles of books and what I particularly like about them. I might even start rereading some of my series again and doing reviews on the series as a whole. So I can start doing like one-to-one reviews on certain books, as well as wrap-ups on the books I've read over certain periods of time, because I'd like to introduce people to my thought processes on individual books as well as like a selection of books. Okay, thank you very much for watching my very first video. Hopefully I haven't bored you to tears. Please like, subscribe, and please comment below, and hopefully we can get to talking and discussing our favourite types of books. Thank you again, and see you soon.